Do you ever put naughty children in the big ones?
I wish I had the photo. Yeah, I put my kids in them.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's amazing. I knew it.
I don't have it. My wife has it. But yeah, they do timeouts in these.
That's a good punishment. It's unusual, but not cruel. I'm in the Willamette Valley, just south of Portland. This is wine country. This temperature and region are perfect for growing Pinot, and some of the best comes from right here. The vintners that I'll be meeting today are all working with the same grape, but they're all putting their own individual and unique spin on the winemaking process. I'm starting my wine schooling at Domaine Serene Winery, who have helped put Oregon wines on the world map. Their 2008 Grace Vineyard Pinot Noir scored a 97 out of 100 in Wine Spectator magazine, the highest score ever given to an Oregon wine.
This is Wooly. The Willamette Valley is such a fertile wine growing region because of the Ice Age, and that's kind of when Wooly came into the valley. So he's our pet, he lives with us. This is our main production floor.
Wow, it's so vast.
So this is a gravity flow facility, which means that we specifically start the production process on the highest level. When the grapes come in, we sort the fruit on this level, then it'll fall down through a chute and go into the fermentation tanks. When we take it down to the barreling room, we actually have hoses that connect to all of these tanks that run through a series of pipes that run down through the winery so we can naturally drain it. If you think about it, centuries ago, everybody was gravity flow because nobody had this technology. So it's just kind of getting back to doing things as true to old world style as we can.
You say that you're using an old world process, a lot of the old techniques. Like, what is the reason behind that?
So you really just want to handle these grapes with respect. We primarily work with Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. Those are our estate fruits, and those are Burgundian varietals. They come from the Burgundy region of France. And one of the reasons that Oregon has become so well known for Pinot Noir and Chardonnay is that our weather and our precipitation and some aspects of our geology are really similar to what you would find in Burgundy, so that's why those grapes flourish here. Terroir is the idea that when you drink a bottle of wine, what you're really enjoying is a south-facing slope or a drier area. And when a region is recognized as unique, it's recognized as an AVA.
What is an AVA?
It's an American viticulture area, but the Willamette Valley is so big that they subdivided it into 6 smaller sections. So more specifically, we're in the Dundee Hills AVA, and this is one of the most coveted land regions for producing Pinot Noir in Oregon.
I am a huge fan of Pinot Noir.
You're in a good place for it. This is the 2011 Evanstead Reserve Pinot Noir, and this is basically the wine that Domaine Serene was built on. It's just going to be a really good example of what makes Oregon wine unique. I think you're really going to get a sense of place. Yeah, it's delicious.
It's not overwhelming in any sense of the word. You could drink it alone, or you could eat it with food. It could do basically anything. It's very dynamic.
I drink it alone.
Yeah?
Last year, the 2010 Evanstead Reserve was Wine Spectator's #3 wine in the world.
In the world?
In the world.
Wow.
It was the highest rated Pinot Noir, and it was the highest rated American wine. So it was awesome for us, but more importantly, it was so great for the Oregon winemaking community to be recognized on that level and to really prove like we're doing some really serious, beautiful things here in Oregon with our wines.
Congratulations, that's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been an amazing experience.
Cheers.
Cheers. Peace out, Domaine Serene. You are a classy woman. Everyone says that the folks at Beckham Estates Winery are making some awesome wines. Andrew is a local ceramics art teacher. He's decided to make his own amphora. This is a clay fermenting pot, as opposed to using barrels to ferment and age his wine.
Wine was made for thousands of years in clay vessels, and we're looking at historic practice and making some wine the way that it was done for centuries.
So how long have you been doing this, Andrew?
We started making these vessels 2 vintages ago. I've been a potter for 25 years. I've been teaching high school ceramics for 13 years.
Okay.
And this is a beautiful marriage of all my hobbies and interests and passions. As far as we know, I'm the only producer who's building the amphora and making wine in them. I throw these on the potter's wheel. The largest containers weigh in the neighborhood of 700 to 800 pounds. They take 2 to 3 weeks to construct. We're using this shape because in a vessel of this nature, we'll often have a difference in temperature from top to bottom. And the nature of this vessel with the hard shoulder is such that as the wine reaches the top of the container, it wants to roll over on itself and return to the bottom. So it acts as a stirring agent, essentially.
Is that something that happens also in barrels, or?
It doesn't happen in a barrel. The beautiful thing about the terracotta vessels is their porosity. They will release gas as we're fermenting and will also pull oxygen through the wall as we're aging. So they tend to cause the wines to mature at a faster rate than we would see in oak or steel or concrete, and have built these vessels trying to make wines in a more natural direction. So we farm our vineyard organically, and the wines that we're making in our amphora are made without commercial product. We don't fine or filter these wines.
Does it look or taste different because it's not filtered?
The finished wines that are coming from terracotta are completely different than the wines we're making conventionally. They have a very interesting tannin profile. Because of the iron-driven earthen nature of the vessel, we're picking up a lot of earth tones coming from the terracotta, and we're seeing that regardless of varietal. We're gonna taste an amphora fermented Pinot Noir. This is the Dijon 115 clone.
From Dijon, France?
Yes,
Okay,
exactly.
same place as the mustard?
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, cheers. Sorry, I don't drink. That's amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
fresh,
Oh,
high
yeah.
tone, bright, resilient.
It's not like overbearing in any which way. Like, it's super smooth, and yeah, it's excellent.
This last year has been a big push for experimentation with what I'm doing. All of our conventionally fermented wines had a sister or a twin done in terracotta. And we can try some of the same lot from barrel.
You know, I'm just gonna say before I even try this, not as fragrant, like more subtle. The other one really like exploded in my nose. I can definitely taste the oak. It's more subtle. The mouth feels different, dries my mouth out a little bit more. Whereas the wine from the amphora is like a little more silky, a little more earthy.
They're completely different wines. So there are a couple examples of our wines that are still aging. Maybe we ought to take a look at some of the finished ones.
I love your labels. Oh, and there's the amphora right there on the label.
This is a Pinot Gris that we made by fermenting on the skins in an amphora. And it's a white wine that has tannin, it has structure, it has body like a red wine.
Light, dry, not overly bright. It's just kind of earthy, and it does have a little like pucker to it. Maybe is that because of
The tannin.
Oh, the tannin, because you left the skins on.
And this is a wine that some people have a hard time understanding because it's not made like a conventional Pinot Gris. You know, it's different.
It's a little bit out there.
Yeah,
Cool.
as we are.
Yeah, very good.
This is our first attempt at making a Pinot Noir in amphora. Very bright, resilient, high-toned.
So good.
It's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brick is definitely a good word to describe this.
And there's no oak imprint, which flies in the face of standard practice.
Do you want more people to use this technique, or do you kind of want to keep it in the family?
Well, it's a dilemma. If I start producing these on a larger scale and they get out there, our project becomes diluted to some degree. However, they are really cool containers to make wine in. We're leaning towards producing them for other winemakers though. I think that there's something really special that's happening in these vessels, and we probably need to share it with others. We've just let a few of them go to some winemakers who are in the state and I've got close connections with. I was born and raised in Oregon. I think we have a pioneering spirit here, and you know, this is what it's all about, trying new things, breaking new ground.
Absolutely.
Trudging forward on the frontier.
Cheers. Give me a hug. You look so huggable. I'm headed to Row and Row Vineyard to meet Ryan Harms of Union Wine Company. He's doing something very unique in the wine industry, attempting to make an approachable and unpretentious product for the masses. This landscape is amazing. It's like so fertile and super lush. It's absolutely beautiful. I mean, I could picture myself living out in a place like this when I get old. It's peaceful. Hey, Ryan.
How you doing? Let me get you in a poncho so you're not soaking wet.
Like a wine smurf.
There you go.
Perfect.
Not only do the soils kind of impact the wines that we make from here, but the fact that this site sits up on top of the hill gets those winds that come in from the coast and also has more sun exposure. Those things all contribute. This is Row and Row Vineyards in the Ribbon Ridge appellation. Our soils that you can find in different AVAs create very different wines. You can go into the Dundee Hills and you can find volcanic soils. You can come here and find the sedimentary soils. The sedimentary soils tend to give a little bit more structure to the wines and make these kind of darker fruited wines. Look at that. Look at the worms coming out and the cover crops starting to come up already. It's just great soils to grow grapes in. So you want to try the sample of the vintage that we just completed right from the grapes in this property. And for us, certainly at Union Wine, it's, you know, there's the ceremony of wine, but also at certain points just getting it in the mouth, tasting what's there. The wines from this area tend to have a little bit more tannic structure to them, and then those dark fruits, and especially in 2014, I think you'll see a lot of that.
Oh yeah, I definitely taste the rich berry, the fruits. It's a little bit carbonated. Is that because the cap was on it?
Well, and it's also super young. So these wines just finished fermenting. These will be in barrel now for another 12 months before we do blends and get them ready to go to bottle.
Oh, it tastes good. You want some?
Yeah.
I'm not a drinker. I used to be a little too much.
Oh,
What do you
delicious.
think? Delicious. Farmy, like salt of the earth.
Kind of blackberry moving into like the darker cherries, and then that structure. That's what we get from this site.
That's the terroir of the wine, right?
That's right. I like to say it just tastes like the dirt that it's grown in instead of fancy French terms, but
Yeah, I like that.
Let's load up and head over to Union Wine Company. We can look at some of the other wines that we work with and kind of how those come together in our final process.
Oh. Beautiful. Wow, it's a full rainbow. Wow.
Welcome to the Industrial Chateau.
Awesome.
Probably the one thing that really is differentiated us right now is our wine in a can. Actually brought some to toast Sunset. So we have Pinot Gris and Pinot Noir on our Underwood brand.
So how does wine in a can taste compared to wine in a bottle?
Well, you want to try one?
Yeah.
My favorite part.
Cheers.
Thanks for coming to visit.
Thanks for having me.
See us how it tastes. So far, we feel like it's the same as what we've had in the bottle.
This is delicious.
We have this whole idea at Union Wine of kind of pinkies down, and the can's like a great vehicle to send that message. You know, hopefully you're not thinking too much about the wine, you're having a great experience with family, friends, what have you. The wine's just there to kind of add to the whole thing. It's not the centerpiece. When I came here originally, I worked for some really great small producers, and friends were all excited, wanted to support the wines that I was participating in. They'd go see the bottle price and it's like, oh, that's beyond what we could afford. So starting Union was a way for me to deliver quality, but at price points that were accessible. So being in a warehouse, spend money on great fruit, spend money on equipment that helps either make it efficient or make the quality of the product better.
No bullshit.
Hopefully no bullshit.
Yeah.
I love the mechanical nature of things. It fits who we are. So.
Yeah, it looks like it was made to be in here.
Yes, yeah, it definitely kind of fits Union, that's for sure. This is the Pinot Gris blend that we're getting ready for canning and bottling from the most recent vintage. And you're more than welcome to spit on my floors.
Okay.
So let's go try some Pinot Noir that's from an entirely different area that we use to make our final blends for Underwood. This is a vineyard in the Umpqua, just south of Eugene. It's a little bit warmer down there, a little bit more sun, longer growing season. Still Pinot Noir.
This is nothing like what we drank in the vineyard. It's definitely not as robust. It's more subtle. It's sweeter. It's easier on the palate, I would say.
Yep.
It's very drinkable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's definitely what we're looking for. We want this wine to be accessible, so this is a real important component. Vintage is a big thing in Oregon. For us, we're focused on a little more consistency. But also it gives us really the ability to blend this kind of true Oregon Pinot Noir by working with all these different areas.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Thanks a lot for coming to see us. Cheers.
Cheers. Every one of the winemakers that I met today really pours their hearts into their product. It's amazing that you can create such a wide variety of different wines by using the same exact grape. Through different methods, they each create something very unique and beautiful. Oh, okay, you want to tandem it? Crabalicious.
We fished 40 hours in 5 days. And then on our last days each, we both caught a fish, and it was worth it.
So why don't more people get down with these?
They look kind of strange, and most people think, oh, that can't be food.
Wow.